Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 1 of Dear Diary with Issa Haltom, with me. I'm your host, Issa Haltom. And today I wanted to talk about something that has more or less been on my mind for the better part of 3 years of making content online. And it's this feeling that I'm not as cool as I used to be. When I started making videos, I was 18 years old, and I had been depressed for 2.5 years before I started making videos. Seriously depressed. And I was just very, how do I put this? I was just super performative, I feel like. The way I acted, the things I did, I was trying so hard to feel better about myself. And I did that by trying to become this person for other people. I was trying to become like super cool looking. I wore like a million rings, and like the way I dressed was like very different from how I dress now. Not very different. I still like how I dress, but now it's like I don't care enough to go out and do all that because I'm doing better mentally and I'm not as insecure about things, and I don't know how to explain it. But I'm not as cool as I used to be. And that has translated into many different parts of my life, not just how I dress. That has become a thing I think about when I think about my earliest YouTube videos. I feel like I thought I had a different way of thinking than I did back then. I have a different way of thinking than I did back then. And when I rewatch old YouTube videos from December 2022, I'm sitting there, I'm like, wow, I was not, I was just, I thought, I saw the world in a different light. I feel like I was almost more optimistic, more hopeful than I am now, because I was force feeding these thoughts into my brain, trying to feel better and trying not to be depressed anymore. I was telling myself, I'm going to take over the world. I'm going to be legendary. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. It was all this relentless optimism. And it was exhausting while I was in that time of my life. But now that I'm past that time in my life, I can't help but look back and see all these positive things I would say about myself, which I didn't really even believe, and think, wow, why am I not like that anymore? And I do that with all sorts of aspects of my life. I do the same thing when I think about just a certain time period of my life when I had these friends and I would hang out in these places and I would do these things. I have a period of my life where I went to the skate park a lot, and I made a big skate park friend group, and I went every night for 2 years. I got really good at skating in those 2 years, and I just look back on that time so fondly. And to this day, it's been 4 or 5 years since then, and I still look at that time and I feel nostalgic for it. I just miss it so badly. I just miss people and places and all kinds of different things. So the problem I'm faced with, and I've been faced with for the past few years, and maybe I'll never stop, but the problem we're facing is, how do you stop living in the past? How do you move forward after things were good once? After things used to be better, you perceive them as they used to be better. Really, I've just sort of told myself over and over, like, that time of my life is over. I'm not ever going to be able to make the YouTube videos that I made at the beginning. And that's because in a lot of ways, I was more, when I first started making YouTube videos and I had 19 subscribers, I was a much more authentic, creative, because it was purely creating because I wanted to create, and there was no other reason. Yeah, I had dreams of being a big YouTuber and all these things, but nobody at that point was watching. I was getting maybe 20 views on a video. And I looked at those 20 and I was like, holy shit, 20 people? That's amazing. This is great. I was so stoked to see 20 views on a video because I had just started 2 weeks ago, and I was doing it purely out of a place of passion and love and wanting to grow and get better at this thing. And now it's more difficult to find that authenticity. And it's not because I'm making stuff, I'm forcing myself to make things. I don't want to do it. I don't actually like it anymore. And all these, I haven't lost the love for it. It's just, there's this unavoidable experience that happens where you genuinely cannot continue creating the way you did just because more people are watching. You can't overshare the same way you used to when that many people are looking. And that's just like a purely human thing. You can't, it's very, very difficult to look out at a stadium of 100,000 people and say the same things you would tell your friend in a car ride home, your best friend, you know? It's this mental shift that happens, and you can't really avoid that. And so the loss of authenticity doesn't mean you are less authentic as a person. It just means you've started to find that success. And I still do my fair bit of oversharing on the internet. I still talk about, I made some videos that got so many freaking views, and I was like, oh, that's kind of awkward. It was like, it was about me having like a mental breakdown in Switzerland like a year ago. But like nostalgia is a drug. At the end of the day, nostalgia is a drug. You look back at things that happened to you and you're like, man, I really missed that time in my life. I missed that time so much. Like the skate park time in my life. Oh my God. That's the time I met Josh as well. Josh wasn't at the skate park with me, but every night I would go home from the skate park and I would get on Minecraft with my best friend Josh. We'd met on Minecraft. He lived in Colorado. I lived in Texas, and we would play every night for 2 years. And I feel like after that time ended, me and Josh never played Minecraft together the way we used to. I fell off with all my friends from the skate park. So many things changed in my life, and I was so upset that it was all over. And now I've sort of accepted that, like it's over. And you just need to accept the past as the past and the present as the present, and accept that the past and the present are equal. One isn't better than the other, you know? You are a multifaceted individual. You are going to change a lot in your life. You're going to have so many different skate park friend groups in your life. But not everybody is meant to be in your life forever. And it's like the hard truth, because you meet people and you love them so much, you want them around forever, but that's just not the way the world works. And I think I got too content with life in certain moments. I liked my life a lot in certain moments, and I resented the fact that life goes on from there. And I'd say for the last few years, I was sort of trying to live in this golden era of my brain where I had just started making videos and I wanted nothing to change from how it was. Except that's not true at all. I wanted so much to change. All I talked about was I want this. I'm going to become this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to achieve all my dreams. If I flip my journal back to the beginning and I open up to a random page, I bet you it'll say like, if I flip my journal back to a random page, ready? Should we just read this page? I don't know what it's about. We're going to see. April 4th, 12:26 a.m. What year is this? 2023. Hey you, it's been a while. We haven't caught up lately. How have you been? Eating well? Getting your 8 hours? You look like you could use a nap, poor thing. Delivering creatively has been hard for me lately. feel like I've been TikTokified and I hate it a lot. Peter McPoland announced his new album today in a big long blah blah blah, sort of like the one I'm writing right now. It's a bit weird, I think, that anytime I see him do anything, I feel inspired. It's not something I get with anybody else. It's forced me to really pound some thoughts into this knucklehead of mine. Growing up, I never really thought I was much of a creative. I hated art class, I booed at music class, and I didn't think there was a creative bone in my body. But I'm older now, and I've pubertied, and I've loved, and I've lost, and I've learned, and I've shown, what does it say? And I've shouted from rooftops and screamed in my car. I've tied blankets to sticks more times than I can count, and all I can say is I'm older for it. I've thought long and hard lately, shocker I know, about priorities and directions. The brain between my ears is a busted compass inside, spinning all top-like. There's not a world where I'm happy with a normal person job. That much I know. College feels like a waste of my time. I'll finish it because I'm this far in and it's much smarter to have a backup plan, but it's very much the backup plan. The aforementioned compass throwing my brain for a loop is a result of my upbringing. I love my mother and father, but I do not see eye to eye with them on matters of my future. I want to change the world. I mean that. It isn't as far-fetched as they say. I know who I am and I know what I'm capable of. I'll create. Create until paradigms shift. I don't know what that means. Until perspectives are flipped, I will reach the masses and the world will see. I will succeed against all the upturned noses and brows. Realize the falsities in their nods and petty words. You're an idiot until it works and then you're a genius. I'd gladly die broke and alone at 35 and have people at the dinner table talk about me than live to be rich and 90 without a story to tell. I'm gonna be one of the greats. See, like, I was just like this cocky little kid. I was such like a narcissistic, cockeyed optimism. There's another really good word I want to use. Pretentious. It's like almost pretentious there at the end. Just the word choices I'm using create until paradigms shift. Oh, but then I hit them with the I don't know what that means because I'm trying to remain relatable. Okay, all right. He's trying at least. Succeed against all the upturned noses and brows. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And then I quoted Mr. Beast. You're an idiot until it works and then you're a genius. Shut up, dude. Oh my God. Man. That was about a year after I started. And that was like the era I was in. I was in this like, I'm gonna change the world era. And I feel like a lot of people, there's also this pressure when you're putting stuff online to remain the way you were when you made your first impression on people. And I got a lot of my viewers from that time in my life when I was making videos about, I'm going to be legendary. I'm going to be one of the greats. I'm going to be incredible. And now here I am, and I think, oh, I want to make this video and talk about this. And I think, oh, but those people are going to be like, what? This guy's supposed to like have things figured out and inspire me when I watch his videos. I don't want to like hear him complain about how he doesn't feel like making a video today. I don't want to hear him complain about that. I want him to motivate and inspire me. And I didn't start these videos to please those people. You know, I started these videos to get things off my mind. And that's what I have to remind myself when those thoughts come up and should I make this today? Nah, I don't know. Maybe they wouldn't like this. Maybe this won't perform well. That never crossed my brain in those first few YouTube videos. I did not care how it performed. I just wanted to get this thing out, you know? And I think maybe in a way, that's kind of why I wanted to move here. I spent years just wanting to get the hell out of there. I was living in Plano, Texas, just moved here about a month ago, and I just wanted to leave so bad. I wanted to get away from all the people I knew, all the same places. Wanted to stop driving past that stupid skate park so I could stop thinking about that time in my life where I was more perceivedly happy. I don't know if that's true or not, but I wanted to get away from it. I wanted to get away from it all. I wanted to get away from my best friends. Not because I don't like my best friends, but because I didn't want to keep having the same conversations and keep thinking the same thoughts when I'm around them and doing the same things and going to the same places and seeing the same people. You know, it's all just this big loop. And I wanted to break the cycle for so long. And so when I got into this school in Vienna, the other side of the globe, it was like this drastic leap. I'm 21 years old. What am I doing moving to Europe by myself? Like with no support except the money I've made from my videos over the last few years. And I'm just like, what am I thinking? That's what everyone was saying. My friends were saying that, my parents were saying that, everyone was saying that. And I was like, I can't keep rehashing the past. I can't keep thinking I'm not as cool as I used to be. I had to get out. And when you live somewhere for long enough and you go through like those formative teenage years, you know, when you become a young adult, you have so much brain fog surrounding all these places. I don't even know how to describe this. I'm recording the podcast by this open window, by the way. It's just it's more fun. And the lighting's nice, and so if you ever hear like a car go by or a honking horn, that's why. But there's only so much you can grow around in your hometown. And that was all that was on my mind, and I was like, I need to get the hell out of here. And that's not to say I don't miss it. I miss it so much. Last night I was sitting and I was just really, really upset. And I was sort of second guessing this whole thing. I was thinking, why did I move here? Why would I leave everything I know, the last 9 years of my life, and just get up and move by myself to the other side of the world? Like, why the other side of the world? This is the thought that was running through my mind last night, was why Europe? Why a country where I don't speak the language? Why not New York City? Why not freaking San Diego? Why not somewhere in America, which would still be a fresh start, somewhere that, you know, at least I'd have something. Maybe I'd know someone. I don't know anyone here. I've been here for a month. I don't know anyone because school hasn't started. Nothing has started, and I'm just kind of sitting here, and I was really second guessing it last night. And then my mom called me right as I was thinking maybe I should call my mom. She called me, and as soon as she called, I picked up and I just started crying. And I was like, I don't know what I did. I don't know why I'm here. But that's like, and it was just a moment. It was just a brief little blip where I was doubting it. And I know things are going to get better. They're going to get a lot easier. I'm like, I still got that optimism, you know. It's a slow start because I came here so early before school starts. But I know once school starts, once I meet some people, it'll be a good time, and I'm excited. You know, I haven't started making my life yet, and I'm sort of in this gray period. But I think that just goes to show how badly I wanted to escape this feeling of the past, like wanting to live in the past. I needed to escape that so bad that I moved to the other side of the world. I just needed a drastic life change. I wanted to find originality again. But that's the thing. Originality is scary. It's this uncharted territory. You know, I'd been living the same thing over and over. I just needed something fresh and new, like so drastically new that it would make me uncomfortable and upset again, to where I can make something that I'm proud of. Because it's been so long. Dropped my pen on the ground. It's okay. Just everything was feeling stale. My videos, my friendships, my life, my personality. I remember every time I go back and I watch a video I made in the first 6 months of my channel, I look at it and I'm like, what the heck? Why is this so profound? Like, why am I saying things that are so, like, deeply thought out? And it's because I was just experiencing this whole new time of my life. Like, things were finally starting to get better. I had been sad for so long that this new period where I was happier and I was making videos and I was like, at least felt like I was moving towards something I was passionate about. I I was just having all these profound thoughts. I was having like these philosophical discussions in my videos. And I feel like I stopped thinking profound thoughts, and now my only profound thoughts are like, oh my god, if I put this at the end of the video, more people will watch for longer. But that's not why I started for this stupid algorithm shit, you know? That's why you might be watching this on Patreon a week early. That's why I started the Patreon. Because I want to be able to not worry about the algorithm. I don't want to have to think about that stuff. I just want to be able to financially support myself now that I live alone and make whatever I want without the burden of financial stress and like, oh, this needs to perform well because I got to pay my rent. So that's part of the reason I started the Patreon. I want to fix that. But yeah, if you're here on Patreon, shout out. Love you guys. Thank you. So the solution that I've realized that exists for all of this, right, is understanding that you cannot move forward until you have accepted the past and the present as equal. Came up with that earlier today. Thanks. I'm pretty proud of that. What happened in the past is a part of you. It probably formed certain things. If you're clinging to it so much, it definitely formed the way you think, at least in some regard. But that does not give it more weight and more power than the moments you're living right now. And you need to I'm mostly speaking to myself here. This is Dear Diary, but Dear Diary, it's just the name of the podcast that I came up with by myself and stuff. So like, it's not a big deal. You're allowed to change. You're supposed to change. And the things that you're clinging to so strongly, with an ironclad grip, are experiences that formed the present. You know, you would be in a different situation in life if you hadn't experienced that, and I think that can inform your decisions and like perceptions about the world. You know, I learned a lot in that time at the skate park with those friends who I still miss some of them, not all of them. And it's like it changed me. But if I had all the experiences I do now, including the skate park friend group falling off and coming back and all this stuff happening, when I was at the skate park, I would have lived my life differently then. You know, I learned from that experience, and I had to learn it to inform the decisions I make today, and how I make new friends, and how I go about my life, and the places I frequent, and all these things that happen to you that you want to cling to so bad are all a part of you. And they're all forming how you pick the next things you do in life. Does that make any sense? I feel like I don't know how to explain this right. You're like, how do I metaphor this? You're like this big freaking water bottle, okay? This is your life and all your experiences. And let's say every experience has a certain amount of water allocated to it, right? Maybe me going to the bathroom this morning didn't really add very much. It was like a drop. But then maybe the skate park friend group thing that happened 4 or 5 years ago was like a big impactful part of my life. Maybe not for them, but maybe for me. And for me, it was like a whole, this much of my water bottle, you know? And now it added that much weight, that much water to my bottle. And I go through life with that weight. And I carry it everywhere I go, and it informs the decisions. Am I going to climb up this big mountain with all this weight knowing it's going to weigh me down? Or am I going to maybe take a sip? Or then, like, The metaphor is not perfect. I just came up with it. Leave me alone. But you carry everything that happened to you in the past with you into the future. That's the best I can do to explain it. If you don't understand, then man, I need to find a different career because that's not gonna work. Like my old self didn't know enough to make the decisions I make today. You know? Old Issa, the Issa who started my YouTube channel, didn't have all the experiences I have. Otherwise, he would have been thinking a little bit more about audience retention strategies on YouTube than he did back then. You know? It's like the experience of living life is in itself a blessing and a curse. You just everything kind of sucks when you know more. Ignorance is bliss, but when you know more, you're more informed. You can make better decisions depending on what you need and where you're at in life. And it's just, I think, realizing that I'm not an inauthentic person just because I wanted to try and make a better thumbnail for this video than I normally do. I always feel guilty. I open up Photoshop, I'm like, oh God, he's making a thumbnail again in my head. And it's like, I just want to try to get some views on this one. Like maybe I can make my channel blow up and then I can go back to my roots after I blow up. That's what I tell myself. And it's hard to get to this point where everything's okay. The moral of the story here is you're not as cool as you used to be. And that's just because you don't need to be anymore. You needed to be that amount of coolness at that time of your life. And you've reached a point where being that cool isn't as important anymore. And you've been that cool before. You know what it's like to be just sick as fuck. Yeah, but it's not really important. If it was more important to you, if it was super important to you, like deep down to be that cool all the time for the rest of your life, you would still be that cool / are still that cool. And you're just seeing it wrong. You're just seeing it through the lens of how you looked at things back then. But you're an older person and you've grown and you've learned for it, you know? And you're not as cool as you used to be. All right, now, this is episode 1, so I get to explain this. So I was thinking, you know how in a newspaper they have like an advice column? I think. I don't know if that's true. Maybe it's like a school newspaper that does that. I don't know. But I was thinking when I was planning out the podcast, I was like, wouldn't that be cool if I had like a community section of the show? And so I made a Google form. It's completely anonymous, and it's in the description of this video if you're watching on YouTube, and if you're watching on Spotify, Patreon, anything, it will be in the description of my YouTube video. And maybe if there's a way for me to put it in the description of the episode on Spotify and stuff, I'll try to do that. But you can go to my YouTube. It's going to be Dear Diary is the YouTube channel. Dear Diary with Issa Haltom. And you guys are able to fill out the form. But for episode 1, because there was no live viewers to go ask things, it'll probably be a lot easier to get into future episodes just because I got a ton this time because I put it on my Instagram story for this one. But from here on out, I think I'm just going to leave it up in the description, and anyone who listens to an episode can go and ask whatever they need advice on in life, and I'm going to try to answer some at the end of every episode. So we got 49 responses. So I'm going to answer some of these. I want to do work and travel in New Zealand this year, but there's so much that comes with it, like all the organizing, the money, planning, and all that kind of stuff. And it's just so overwhelming, I don't even know where to start. Also, I'm so scared that I'm not able to do it. because it'll be my first solo trip ever, and I'm actually not that independent yet. So I'm thinking if I should still do it, but I actually really want to. Do you have any tips? Well, I just moved across the world to Vienna without really knowing if I'd be able to pull it off. It depends on what you mean by not that independent yet. Do you mean like financially you're still very much dependent on your parents, or do you mean mentally not that independent yet? Like you're nervous to be on your own and making food by yourself and doing your laundry, doing all these adult random things. It takes a lot of planning, but also not really much planning. Like you kind of like look up, you find a place to stay and you make sure you can kind of afford it, and then you just go, and everything else I've kind of figured out by myself since I got here. Like I got here and I was like, "Oh shoot, I don't have like a phone line. I got to figure that out." So I started figuring it out. You just like Google everything when you get there. That's what I've been doing. I didn't really research anything to do with Vienna before moving here. I just wanted to get out so bad. So I just did it. Honestly, I would I don't think I could ever tell you not to do it. Like I would never not recommend it unless you're just like super broke and there's no financial way you can make it work. Like, and even then you could go there, and you said you want to work and travel there. So just I know so many people who literally have like $20 in their account when they get there, and then they just get a job at like a coffee shop. New Zealand, they speak English, right? Yeah, it's like by Australia, they speak English. Just go to New Zealand and get a job in some coffee shop, make some money, and go travel with the money. And you don't really need much more than that. I have a friend who I knew her years ago, like just off the internet. She was from Australia, and she moved to Vancouver, Canada when she was 18 years old with like pretty much no money. Just like had enough to pay her rent for a little bit. And then I think she worked at like a ski lodge or something in Vancouver, and she was a barista there at their coffee shop they have, and they also paid for her lodging, like somewhere for her to stay. So she didn't have to pay for a place to stay. She was getting paid to work there, and then she saved that money, and I think she just like traveled with it and went on trips and lived her life while she was young, and I think then she moved back to Australia. But like that's really cool. I remember telling her like that's insane. That's so cool. Like I want to do that so bad. Like there are options like that. You gotta research a little bit, and researching's so easy now. You just like type into ChatGPT, hey, plan this out for me. Like how much will I need realistically, and then do your own research, Google it. It's less complicated than you think. It's just a scary step to take. And it seems like a really, really big commitment because it is. But you can always go back to wherever you want after. If you get there and you didn't like it, you can go back. This person said, feeling lost, having so many options with what to do with your life, and still doing nothing because you don't really know what the right path is. So you just end up being stuck in self-sabotage. You just got to pick something, man. You just got to, like, literally, it doesn't matter. You're probably, like, 18 years old. You just pick something. Whatever you pick isn't the end of the world. And you just pursue something. Pick anything. Literally, any of your options that you think are in the books, in the cards. You do it. And if you decide you don't like it, you don't like it. That's the entire point. That's the entire point. There's literally the entire point of being, like, young. You just figuring things out. You're throwing shit at the wall, figuring out what sticks, and yeah, that's about it. You're overthinking it, man. You're overthinking it hella. Situation. I've been trying to get into university, but haven't been successful yet. I see other students around me moving forward with their studies and careers while I feel stuck in the same place. Every day I end up comparing myself to them, and it takes a toll on me mentally and even physically. I'm losing confidence in myself, and it feels like no matter how hard I try, I'm not getting anywhere. I start feeling like I'm maybe not lucky enough. This person took a gap year and hasn't gotten into university yet, and they see like people they know getting into schools and going forward in life and doing things, and they feel like they're being left behind. So what advice would you give someone who feels left behind in life while everyone else seems to be moving ahead? How can I deal with constant comparison and rebuild my confidence while I'm Still waiting for my breakthrough. How can I start being active and productive as well with all the thoughts that spiral my mind in this time? I actually got like 3 or 4 of these messages that all said kind of the same thing. So I was like, I gotta answer it. You're dealing with like external things that you can't control, uncontrollable factors that are affecting you mentally and your confidence in yourself. And holy shit, it's so loud outside. This might not work, man. I might need to like get a studio light and just filming inside. But I love the natural lighting. Sorry, I got sidetracked. So these external factors are affecting your motivation and confidence in yourself and your abilities. And so the problem here isn't that you are the problem here isn't that there's something wrong with you. The problem is that you're letting these external things affect how you perceive yourself. And when you feel like you're being left behind, it doesn't feel good. When you feel like you're losing your confidence, you lose your confidence to do anything. You lose your confidence to even keep trying. And right now what you need to do is keep up the confidence to just continue to try and get up every day and do that. And in my opinion, the best way to do that is to just live a healthy, like super healthy lifestyle. Like I'm talking like TikTok morning routine, get ready with me type lifestyle. Like you need to be getting up at 8 a.m. and having a healthy breakfast, like some yogurt and granola, just things that make you feel like, wow, look at me. I'm like those TikTok girls who have their matcha and their yogurt every morning and then go for a run at 8 a.m. Like, seriously, that's what you need to do. You need to like go to the farmer's market on Sundays just to feel like you have your life together. Because that goes a long way. Like these people who do that don't do it just because it's like healthy. They do it because it like makes you feel good mentally. Like, oh, I'm like look at me. I'm like such an elite person. I'm doing all these things that all the freaking guy on TikTok lighting his candle before he goes in the shower. Like he's just like, yeah, he's doing it for the clip, for the video. He probably doesn't do that every time. But also when you do that and just romanticize your life in that way and do those healthy things that seem like they're not really doing all that, it does something to you. So that's what you need to do. You need to remain positive and just try to romanticize this grind of applying to colleges and getting into things and hoping you like latch onto some opportunity. You know, you need to romanticize it a little bit for you to keep that sanity and keep yourself going. And you know, I believe in you. You got this. You can do this. It's all, everybody goes through it. No matter how great everyone else seems like they're doing, they're probably struggling with a lot of the same things that you are. This person said, let's dig into friendship betrayals. Okay, I'm guessing this person got betrayed by a friend. I've been betrayed by my fair share of friends. I don't know like what I would call it really, but I've had like a lot of very, very close friends do something to me where I'm like, that is the most screwed up thing anyone could ever do to their friend. And so I stopped talking to them and never speak to them again, except that's not true because I stopped talking to them and then I just kind of forgave everyone. I'm a very forgiving person, unfortunately. It's a blessing and a curse, but you know, you feel a lot better when you forgive people. You know? After enough time goes on, if you're like physically able to, I am of the belief that you should always forgive everybody. Everybody deserves more than one chance, maybe more than 2 chances. Yeah, I have no grudges. I hold 0 grudges against anybody in my life. And I've been done wrong. If I just got into some of these nitty-gritty details, bro, oh my God. Oh my God. You ever meet me on the street, ask me about it, but I'm not putting that on here. Oh my God, crazy things. I've been done dirty, bro. Here's a funny one. And then we'll end the episode. What do I do when I like a boy but he's weird? Freaking the weird ones are the best ones. The frick. I don't know. I just saw that one. It was funny. What do I do? I like a boy and he's weird. It's like, all right, girl. Relax, girl. It's not that deep. Okay. That's about it. I don't know how long this video is going to end up being. I've recorded for like an hour. We'll see how long it ends up being. I hope it's like a solid podcast length. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys enjoyed it, consider subscribing to the Patreon if you're not already. It's a huge help. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode 1 of Dear Diary. Hopefully it was up to standard for like podcast stuff. I don't have like one of those fancy shotgun mics. Maybe one day, maybe I get a studio light. Maybe I sort this whole thing out. Maybe I freaking invest in a studio or something if things start going well for me here. But there's a certain goal I have in mind for this. I want to get to at least 20 episodes, because I remember in 2023 I saw a stat saying that if you make 20 episodes of a podcast, you are in the top 1% of podcasts, because 99% of podcasts don't make it to episode 20. They just stop posting before then. So 20 weeks, that's my initial goal, and then I just want to continue forever. Yeah, I'm excited. If you enjoyed, consider subscribing to the Patreon. Consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. If you're watching this on Spotify, leave a 5-star rating, please, and review. I don't know if that's a thing, but that's about all. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you. Love you. Good night.
Yeah, you've got a friend in me.